All right, all right. Here we are, the man of the hour at the top of the hour, or so, or thereabouts. Jimmy Afant from the
And here in
margins.
Washington,
David Washington from the margins. We are back, everyone. It is great to be here, and to all of our viewers, listeners, and commenters, especially those who make comments. We love commenting. We love the comments. We love responding to them. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And keep it coming. And it's amazing the on the scale of comments that we've had, and just the judgment calls. I'll just leave it at that. Jimmy, it's good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How is everything in beautiful Baldwin Park?
Everything is lovely, lovely. They're doing some work on the palm trees in the background. But otherwise, it's another warm, beautiful Florida afternoon. Yeah.
Even though the far Democratic Party is going down the cave, is going. Uh,
When I came up with the title for this show, it was like a double-edged sword in a way, and I was being a little, facetious when the first part of the title, "Dems in Retreat," and I thought I was really pushing that part. However, just moments ago, within the last half hour of this broadcast right now, Senate Minority Leader in Florida, in Tallahassee, State Senator Jason Pizzo, just announced that he FedEx his voter registration to the Florida Division of Elections, proclaiming that he has left the Democratic Party and is now a non-party affiliate. And that's just like boom, mind blowing. He gave a impassioned speech, and this is on top of other Democrats who have left the party here in Florida, giving the Republicans a larger supermajority. We've had the announcement, whether it was, I can't think if it was today, it's been a long day, or yesterday. I think it was today, from my home state. Senator Dick Durbin, loved Dick Durbin. And when I started my political career, I think he was the senator representing Illinois. Illinois. He stated that this is it for him. He's retiring. Jan Stokowski, I hope I remember pronouncing her name correctly. Representative Jan has decided. I believe I saw a headline that she is going to retire also. So it's more than just the Dems in retreat. It's the Dems they're just falling by the wayside. What do you think about
they're
that?
going down the drain fast. Look, the party needs to change. We all know that. It's been told to us. And the people who are trying to control, they're trying to control on their own. They're in Florida, basically, I, House victory is a joke. Senate victory is a laughter. They can't raise the money. They can't get the people. They can't get people registered to vote. They've lost Miami Dade, and there's no plan to get it back. There is no plan to get it back. Okay, you have Nikki is chair, and she's absent completely. Nobody knows what Nikki's doing, and the party is really being sustained
Yeah.
by the local party. Uh, Orange County, we have a great chair and a great board, but also Orange County is blessed that the Republican Party of Orange County is non-existent. So you're really not competing with anybody, and and the majority of the people here are Democrats, even though some people might want to argue that. Look, uh, Florida is no different than the rest of the United States. The rest of the United States, we do not have a leader. Period. Now, you might disagree with Donald Trump, and God knows I do. You
Yes.
might think that he's crazy, and God knows I do.
Sure.
But he is the leader of that party, and he
Yes.
has an iron fist on it. And if you
Yes.
screw with him, you pay the piper. Okay?
That's right.
We right now, the House votes against the budget, and this idiot, Mike Schumer, is like, oh, well, we don't want to close the government, so I'm going to vote for the budget. Really? If, if the people of this country know that the House, the Senate, and the presidency is in the hand of the Republicans, if the government closes down, that might be a good idea because they cannot respond to Elliot Musk's uh, uh, emails when he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh, the president then decides who's essential people. Yeah, let him decide it, and basically let him find the money. How he's going to pay them? Because that's the other. The problem is he can decide who's the essential people, but how is he going to pay them? Because there's no money in the budget. So this is the problem that the party has: that there is no leadership,
Yeah.
and the old leadership is pissed off because this young man, Doug Hug, from my home state, one of the
David.
few good Democrats in my state, who's the vice chair, raised $20 million to get young people to replace the old farts. I'm all for it. David, tell me where do I sign up? And I'm an old fart. Just
Wow. Wow, Jimmy. There's their pack. Leaders We Deserve, I believe, is the pack. And with David Hogg, right now, the chair of the Democratic Party, Ken Martin, has pretty much given David Hogg an ultimatum. It's like, hey, you back off or you step down. And what the party is allegedly planning on doing in its August meetings is toughening their neutrality rules, meaning that DNC members cannot take sides during the primaries. Everyone stays neutral. And it appears
when did
that
that start?
this was reported very recently, within the last maybe 6 hours.
So look how stupid my party's become.
Oh,
Mr. Martin, you're a moron if you're thinking this way. You're telling me, as a Democrat, that my friend John decides to run. He says, "Hey, James, can you help me?" Sure. But you are the committee man and you cannot help me. Yes, I can. I'm sorry, I can. Uh, I can help whoever I want. Are you? It's so difficult for us to recruit people in a party. So now you're going to make it more difficult that if I want to help a fellow Democrat in a primary, I'm forbidden from doing it because I'm a DMC member. And let's start what a DNC member is. That is your committee man. That is your committee woman per precinct. They cannot take sides. So the only people who can help me are maybe people who are registered in the party. But if I want to run as a candidate, how does the party help me? They sell me access to a program that is a piece of shit, and they overcharge me for it. Do they give me anything? No. Look, party, you want to help people get elected? Stop this game. It's been for years said that we're supposed to stay out of it. I can accuse many members of my local party
yes.
of taking sides, okay?
Yes, indeed.
Including right now in District 15, Senate.
That's correct.
Don't get me started. So, people, stop this. The problem that Mr. Martin has as our chair is that he's less recognized than the vice chair. People like David, they don't like him. You know, I'm going to give you a suggestion, Mr. Martin. Quit, let Dave run the party.
Ooh, ooh,
Quit, let Dave run the party.
ooh.
The
I
best
guess,
thing you could do. You've done nothing to help the party. All you've done is kiss the ring of the powerful who put you there, and you're incapable of raising the serious money that we need to raise. Just step aside, quit, and let Dave run the party. And
wow,
I'll come back.
wow.
And I'll come back to help the party. This thing of why can't we have an agenda? We can. And particularly when we know that our party is not doing what it's supposed to do. We
Sure.
need a complete renovation. Let's get rid of all the old farts, including myself. uh, and get new blood because Chuck Schumer doesn't cut it anymore. Jeffries doesn't cut it at all. Pelosi doesn't cut it. Bernie cuts it, but everybody's afraid of him because he's too liberal. AOC cuts it, but everybody's afraid that she's too liberal too. But
Right.
realistically, who are we looking at? Some governors from good states to maybe run because Kamala,
Yeah.
you're gone. Newsom, you're trying to become a centrist. It really, you know,
Yeah.
you're not smart enough to be our president. So, yeah, maybe we need somebody different because realistically, right now, the party is not in a crisis. I wish it was. The party is in the dumpster.
It
We
is.
we need, and this is going to come sound like maybe difficult. We need a savior. Yes, the
Yes.
Democratic Party needs a savior. Who is it going to be? I'm not sure because the people that are out there right now, none of them qualify for that.
And Jimmy, I like and I do not like what David Hogg is doing. Granted, it was smart to have the money to back up the words. And following his short career, I saw that he was making this particular pack something worthwhile. Gained a lot of respect as far as the consultant, space by raising so much money in this pack. And now he has $20 million to affect primaries. What I don't like is that we need the opposition needs fresh blood. The opposition needs fresh ideas. The opposition needs fresh action. It's one thing to prop up a candidate against someone that David Hogg believes has fallen asleep at the wheel. Okay. However, let's not just prop up someone. Let's not support someone with a lot of money who is there just because they're a fresh face. We need effective speakers. We need someone who will not um, just talk the talk, but also walk the walk. I mean, build real leaders and take that 20 part of that $20 million and start building these leaders, creating these leaders, mentoring these leaders, training these leaders, and things like that. That's where I have a problem with the approach that he's taking in primarying Democrats, regardless of who they are. And another thing I have a problem with is that there are certain Democrats that he's already said that he will not touch, like Nancy Pelosi, Jan Schakowsky in Illinois, people like that, because they've done the work. He says. I'd like to say differently. However, the approach works. He's got the money. The pushback may force him to resign his seat as vice chair with the DNC, and perhaps that's for the best.
Well, Dave, don't let them push you out. They don't have the power to push you out. Technically, you have not violated any of the rules of the DNC. So, Mr. Martin, you're wrong. But I hear you. But my problem is, I he, I look at it a different way. Nobody's doing shit because they don't want to hit and do anything that might ruffle some feathers or might create problems. Look, your state right now, I would like to see a young face become the next state senator. Your state in which you could buy a senator. Oh, wait a minute, the guy went to jail trying to sell Obama's seat, but that's another story for another day. Okay, it's true. It's not. I'm not making that one up. Okay,
It's true.
it's true. Okay, I would like to see some young person be backed by this group and put some really young blood in the Senate. As a matter of fact, your state did something very good some years ago, and you remember when I say you're gonna say, yeah, he's right. They took a young, unknown
Yeah.
senator. They put him to talk in a Democratic convention, and he impressed a couple of people. And then he ran and the establishment wasn't really backing him.
Oh no.
The Illinois was not really backing him, and he was able, with his charisma and some other money that was raised from some people who believed that it was time that new blood come in. Okay, as a matter of fact, the senator that's retiring right now was not a fan originally of President Obama when he was running for the Senate. He thought it should be somebody else. Okay, I've said that. That was a great example of something that could happen. Chicago could now, not Chicago, Illinois. I'm sorry, before everybody corrects. This great state of Illinois could elect a young person similar to Obama
Yeah.
that could go into the United States Senate and make a difference. Look, this thing that, well, this person has paid his dues, this person has been there, fuck that.
Yeah.
We need new blood. And I hate to say this, there's another problem that we don't want to discuss. Okay, he's not going to touch Nancy Pelosi because that's a powerful woman who will screw him over 10 times. Don't ever mess with Nancy. Okay. Uh, but everybody else is up. And look, ACO gave you all example. She took one of the most powerful Democrats
Yeah,
and took
crazy.
him out
Yeah.
with no money. No money. How he was elected in an Hispanic district for so many years always
Divorce.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
But it happened. So I would like to see David again. Call me. I will be more than glad to help you out. I would like to see new blood, and if that means taking out some of the establishment, tell me which one of the establishments done shit since in the last 95 days. None of them.
No one. And that's where I want to get to, Jimmy, because it's one thing to point your finger in the USAID, worker's face, or fly down to Salvador, or, go on a tour around the country and just talk and talk about fighting. And I see this a lot in a lot of the opposition's promoting of themselves. I'm a fighter. I'm gonna fight. Enough of the words. It's frustrating because regardless of how you feel about President Trump, the man will do what he says. And I know this bites a couple of people in the asses when I say this. However, he hit the ground running and had signed off on so many executive orders to spin your head. I'm still catching up trying to figure out what's going on. And this is the stuff I live, eat, and shit every day. And so Democrats, they need to move beyond the message and show some actions and put their own butts on the line because they can protest all they want, hands off, whatever. You can stand on the street corner with your sign. You can stand with your peers with your sign. You can do your chants or whatever. But you go home to your nice homes. You have a nice dinner. You sleep in a comfy bed, and you go to work the next day. That just doesn't. That what you did is just another day. I remember my grandparents telling me about the struggle, about putting their butts on the line for voting rights, for women's rights. Vietnam. I remember, hey, being confronted by three of Attorney General Roland Burris's attorneys after I portrayed him as sleeping in bed with polluters outside of his office at the state of Illinois building, the James R. Thompson or James Thompson Center, now the Google Center, years ago, years ago. And they got three black men got in my face like, how dare you? How could you? How could you do that to another black man? And I told them, my little 17, 18-year-old self, I was like, I live in the community that waste management's incinerator was polluting. And perhaps, maybe, the asthma that I suffer from is the cause was caused by that incinerator burning for years and years in my community. So that's why I'm laying here in this makeshift bed outside of his office at the State of Illinois Center. How about that? That's what I want to see. I want to see bold action. I am done with the words. I march with ACT UP. I march with Moved On. I march on DC during the Iraq War. None of these folks are doing what I thought that the opposition would take to the next level. Okay, I'm off my soapbox here,
No,
Jimmy.
no. Look, I understand you, and the problem, and that is part of the problem. I've been chastised because if I criticize my party, I'm not a real Democrat. If
Ah,
I chastise something, I'm not. Well, let me tell you what the party is. Party is not me. It's not you. It's not Chuck Schumer. It is not Nancy Pelosi. It is not Jeffries. It is not any member of the Congress or the Senate. It is the people.
that's right.
We are the party, not you guys. We expect better from you because you claim to represent us. But I can tell you right now, none of the people that I mentioned, none of the people in the Congress or in the Senate are representing me. They're doing nothing. I did see a cute video where they you look stupid in that video. Okay,
Clown
you look
show.
stupid. Okay, want to take a stand? Look, it's very simple. I took a stand and I've been criticized. And this is the stand I took. You want to bring back jobs to the United States? Stop buying Chinese. You're buying Chinese, but and you're going and then and you're buying it on Amazon. You're buying it on Etsy. You're buying it every place. You're going to Walmart and you're buying products that mostly are from China, India, Pakistan, and other places. And then you say, well, they're taking away our jobs. Yeah, you no, they're not. You are by buying their products. So
Thank
if you
you.
want to America to produce, buy American products. Oh, I buy American cars. None of the American cars have American parts. That's the
That's right.
whole problem. It is not them. It is us. Okay. You want to bring back jobs to the United States. You want to bring companies back to the United States. Stop buying foreign products. Simple. But no, 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 no. We don't
That's right.
want to do that. You want to take another stand? Look, President Trump is lying to you. He might not take his paycheck, but he's taking bitcoins. He might not take his paycheck, but he is getting permits in Vietnam to put up his businesses on the Trump corporation, which is going to make him a billionaire once he stops being president. And by the way, most of these things in Vietnam are going to open while he is president with the promise of not doing tariffs on them. Okay, President Trump might claim to be a Christian, but I don't know which church he belongs to, and I never heard him quote the Bible. Okay, so whatever that is, that is. Now, does he take a stand? President Trump does take a stand. Do we take a stand? We don't even know how to get off our chairs.
They take a stand for a El Salvadorian citizen. They'll take a stand for someone who's not a citizen of these United States
Yeah,
and
well,
go out of their way and fly to El Salvador and come
well,
back empty handed and
well,
then say to me, to you, oh, I'm fighting for you because this could happen to you. Well, damn it. During the 80s, my parents pulled my brother and I aside and said, hey, you as young black men, young black boys are an endangered species. We're going to make sure you get past your 20s because we had the crack cocaine pandemic, we had gang warfare. It was a rough time and still is for many men, let alone black men.
yeah,
And you're
but
fighting for me by going to El Salvador
no. If you
for a
want to
guy that
fight,
wasn't even supposed to be here?
if you want to fight for me, I can tell you you can fight for me. It's very simple. Make sure that the courts orders are obeyed not only by the Republicans but by the Democrats. And the other thing that you could do is very simple. Look, you might joke about this. You had that in the 80s. I have friends of mine whose kids look Spanish who have to sit down and say, hey, a fucking idiot from ICE might stop you because you look Hispanic and ask you for your papers. Don't get in an argument. Don't tell them to go fuck themselves. Sit down and show you your driver's license. And you might joke about this, but there was a party that was held here, and the joke was, people, please bring your birth certificates, just in case the assholes listen to Spanish music and say, hey, let's send them back. Okay, or somebody tell me go back to where you came from. Was you want me to go back to New York? Really? I don't like New York. I prefer Florida. Why don't you go back from where you came from? Well, what do you mean where I came from? Well, your grandparents were they Native Americans? No. Then what's your last name? Okay, you're of German descent. Go back to Germany. Well, I've been here. Oh, so have I, asshole. But there is a thing that if we get rid of all the immigrants, and let's stop pretending. Let's stop lying. Let's get rid of the Hispanics, and everything will be fine. Because the immigrants they're talking about is the border in the South. The immigrants that we're talking about are El Salvador. The gangs that we're talking about are from Venezuela. And hey, criminals need to go.
Yeah.
Get the outlaws, with all due respect,
Perfect.
get the Mayas, and there's a bunch of other gangs. But no. Those gangs are white people. We don't do that. We only arrest Hispanics. People, if you have a last name that is Hispanic. I traveled to Puerto Rico some time ago, and there was a ICE person saying, "Where are you from?" And I looked him. He asked me in Spanish, and I looked at him straight, and I said, "I don't speak Spanish." He said, "Oh, keep going." In a broken English, for the record, his English was horrible. But or like Fluffy likes to call most of the ICE people traitors. But it is a cruel reality nowadays. If you have a teenage son, teenage daughter that look Hispanic, that look like J-Lo, that look anything like that, you have to prepare because you have people like Minas, the deputy sheriffs, and the city of Orlando, Apopka, and all those other places, and they may arrest you simply because you look different. And God forbid that you have a Spanish last name and you don't have a birth certificate with you. I mean, they arrested about 10 Puerto Ricans over there because all they had was driver's license, and those could be fake, and they took them in. And then their family had to go with their birth certificates. Really? Is that to what we arrive? And this is where I'm coming. I don't mind that you want to lie to the people that if you get rid of all the Hispanics, everything's going to be fine in this country. And I'm going to stop calling this immigrants. It's Hispanics. It's south of the border. It's people who speak Spanish. It's people who are of Hispanic descent. Those are the ones you're going after. Are there any Canadians here legally? Yeah, there are.
Sure.
Are there any people who came from Europe and on a 6-month visa and they let it expire? Yes, they are.
India.
As a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting because I know somebody that told me that they have a friend from Jamaica who came here for Disney and never returned to Jamaica about 20 years ago. But that's not the person because his last name is Johnson. So they're not really looking for Johnson. They're looking for people who are Hispanic. So it's not an immigration thing. It's a war against Hispanics. Call it what it is.
And Jimmy, the pushback I get is like, well, it could happen to you. One of our mutual friends, mentioned that to me this morning, and said, Trini, growing up again as a black person, and profiling was an issue. Again, parents pulled my brother and I aside and said,
okay,
"Hey,
can I ask you a question, David?
Yes.
You said was an issue.
It was. Ooh,
Oh, can I?
please correct me. Go ahead. Yes.
I don't think it was. I would call it is an issue.
Is an issue, yes.
Okay.
Good correction. You got me. Yes, is an issue. So the living in fear for many of us in this society has been it's been the norm. And I see our our liberal white allies out there. They're out there protesting at the Tesla dealership and on the street corners for 50-51 day. And it's just curious to
Yeah,
me.
but those are the people who buy Teslas, for the record.
Exactly. They're the
Because
ones who can afford to be out there in the middle of a work day, and it's these same folks who say, oh, we want everyone. We're a big tent. And when you put the mirror up to them and their organizations and say, hey, we need to do better, oh, you're done, you're out. And that's going back to what you were saying earlier. When there's some pushback, some constructive criticism of what the opposition is saying and doing or lack thereof, they're quick to say, oh, no, you're the shame, the insult, the guilt, the name calling, it starts spelling out.
look, if we're going to read our comments and be honest about our comments, Democrats like my comments. Republicans tend to think I'm a Democrat and that everything that comes out of my mouth is a lie. Well, yeah, to you it might be, but the truth of the matter is that the country is fucked up. And you could claim that President Trump is going to straighten it out. He's been there 95 days and he hasn't and he can't. Why? Because it's not up to one person to fix this country.
That's right.
It's our job as a country to fix it.
That's
And
right.
realistically, the Democratic Party is a joke. The Republican Party does not exist.
That's correct.
What you have is the Donald Trump Party, not a Republican Party, is a
That's
Donald
right.
Trump Party. So, in fairness to everybody, it's up to us. Nobody's going to fix our problems. Nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to go and do some special thing in government and straighten your life. No. You need to stop hating each other. You need to start tolerating each other and stop calling yourself a Christian and then condemning others.
Yeah.
Stop calling yourself a Christian and saying that we need to get rid of those people who are less Christian than us, according to you. The truth of the matter is, the only way this country is going to save itself, it is not Donald Trump. It is not a Democrat coming down from heaven. It is us. We need to unite and learn to accept. Is everybody the same? No.
Correct.
Uh, I had an argument with somebody, and after that argument, I insisted in hugging him, and people looked at me like, "Excuse me." Yeah, like we disagree on ways of doing things, but we don't have to hate each other. And the promise that we become a hateful country. I hate you because you're a Democrat. I hate you because you're a Republican. I hate you because you're a Muslim. I hate you because you're an Hispanic. And on and on.
Right.
And you are letting certain things define us, and love is not one of them. So when you want to know how to fix this country, stop hating. When you want to know how can I make my country better, be more tolerant. Look, I had a long conversation with somebody who tried to tell me that Donald Trump is going to save this country. And I listened, and I then said to him, "Look, this, that, and that," and believe it or not, half of the things I told him, he agreed with me. He understands that Donald Trump is a liar. He understands that Donald Trump uh, it insults people, but he takes a stand and he tries to do something. He
Yes,
doesn't agree with everything he's trying to do, but at least he kept saying he takes a stand.
he does.
The other guys don't. I don't know what they stand for. And to be quite honest, I'm going to ask you a question, David. What does the leadership of our Democratic Party stand for?
First thing that comes to mind is the protection of the other, those who um, check certain boxes that perpetuate their goals of at least giving the mirage that they're doing something. Again, in the title of this episode, Abrego Garcia, fighting for things that are intangible, our rights. And maybe intangible is the wrong word that I'm using. Um, I we gave away our rights right after 9/11 with the Patriot Act 1 and then the Patriot Act 2. Our rights,
Right.
our privacy a long time ago. And it appears that the opposition has not fully understand that. I
The problem is that there is no opposition.
they're
Both of
right.
those acts were passed by both parties.
Right. And Jimmy, in one of my side hustles, and I put that in quotes because I do it as a labor of love. I read on a regular basis, monthly, the stories of immigrants to these United States who are seeking through the legal means and pay a lot of money to get their citizenship. I read their stories because I proof their stories to make sure
I
that
mean,
everyone
the
knows
people
intelligently.
who could afford to buy their way into this country legally.
Right. And they've been here for years. They've had families, businesses. They've been active participants in positive ways in our society. And the stories that I'm reading, some of them are incredible, others are heartbreaking. But the common thread is that these are folks who've come here for opportunity. And I want to join with them. And I know I have joined with them not knowing that many of them are here illegally. However, people are people. And if they're putting their best version of themselves forward, I want to be there right there with them. But with the Democrats, going back to your question, what do they stand for? Who leads them? It's not me. It's not the people I care about. It's not the people who were once Democrats, like Jason Pizzo, like myself, who have left the party and thought to themselves, there's a better way.
Well, the problem that I have with that perception is you're letting them take over.
And them being who?
The idiots who are in Washington, who are in Tallahassee, who are in every state capital, who let things go down the way they're going down.
And that's on both sides. Can we agree
Oh,
to that?
no. I'm going to take this a little bit different. I'm a Democrat, but the Democrats, they have allowed the Republicans to control the South. They've not put up a good fight. They have
Yes.
not put up a good fight with gerrymandering. There's a new movie called The Dark Money. It's on HBO.
Okay.
It's about the story of Ohio, where first Energy financed the Speaker of the House. He
Okay.
gave them a bill that they wanted. And basically, when there was a movement to try to revoke it, they got money from first and they did some horrible things. They used the money to even say that one of the candidates that was running that could win, that was a Democrat, was caught in a DUI, and it was questionable because somebody had reported him. This is how interesting it gets. Somebody reported that that guy was driving drunk. The police respond. He passes the sobriety test, but they filmed the sobriety test and they show that the police did the sobriety test, and they spent something like $12 million buying people up and putting that out there. So to say that the Republicans are doing nothing is not true. How they are organizing they're doing things underhand, but they're doing. What are we
Mhm.
doing? We're trying to say, I'm going to put on the white hat, and I'm going to be the good cop, and I'm not going to do anything that is wrong. And that's why I admire Dave, because I think Dave is realizing that the Democratic Party stands for one thing. They want to prove Einstein to be correct. And why would I say that they want to prove that Einstein was correct? Simple. They keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different result, which is
Yeah.
never going to happen. So uh, they stand for reelection. They stand for trying to say that they are uh, for the minorities, for women, and for those people who cannot speak for themselves, which is an admirable thing to say. The truth of the matter is that they never have done that. And my prime example is in Puerto Rico, for years, the Republican Party down there would donate $1 million or $2 million a year, and they would put in the platform that the Republican Party stood for statehood, but traditionally no uh, representative or senator would seriously ever do anything to bring statehood to Puerto Rico. And then everybody said, "Oh well, the Democrats." No, the Democrats didn't do shit either. Okay, so
Mm.
let's stop pretending. The thing is, we need to get some people who respond to the people. Because if you're going to elect the same uh, 12 state representatives we have in Florida, you're not going to go too far. If
You
you're going
just
to continue saying that everything is okay, we're going nowhere. The party needs to come up with a platform. And it's very simple. It's not rocket science. It's the economy stupid.
yeah.
Again, is the economy stupid? Salvador, nice. Standing up for the rule of law, nice. What's on my table is what I care about.
Damn right.
And the price of eggs are up. The price of gasoline is up. The price of food is up. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody. The price
Mhm.
of food, the price of, if you look at even right now, if you buy an Amazon, you say, have prices gone up? Yeah, it's the tariffs, idiots, because everything that Bezos sells you comes from China. So
Correct.
that the tariffs is there. And by the way, they're there even if Bezos bought it beforehand, he already jacked up the price. So when he buys the new ones, he has the money to pay them because he's going to get it from you, not from himself. So the truth of the matter is, you want to stand up, price of food, price of gasoline, healthcare is out of control. You cannot afford your medications.
Yeah, for
It's
medical care.
completely out of. Uh, right now, you in Florida, the government wants to tell you what you can and cannot read. The government wants to control your life. Yeah, that's true. And basically, it nothing is better. Food is, and cars are more expensive. Parts are more expensive. You know, your bottom line is the money that you're making now is not going to be able to cover your expenses in 2 years. But we're talking about that we need to fire people because that's going to make. Look, the federal budget has three major expenses. And if you really want, it's two. You can't touch Social Security because if you take away the benefits of the senior citizens, you lose that election. The second one, that is the biggest waster, is called the Department of Defense. But we need that money to defend ourselves. No, we don't. We spend more on our defense than the 25 countries that have a decent defense in the world combined. There's only one country that comes close to what we spend. And look what I'm saying. There's only one country that comes close to what we spend. We outspend them. That's China.
Yep.
And for the record, they have a bigger navy, they have a bigger air force, they have a bigger army.
Yeah.
So, and they spend less money than us. So Uh, our problem in the Democratic Party is that we need a new thing. But the first thing we need to do, and I'm talking to one, we need to get rid of the consultants. It's look, the
That's
amount
that.
of money that they're charging. No, no, no. They're charging for things that we really don't need. To
Yeah. Yes.
tell us how to dress, how to speak, what words they think are going to make an impact, and what words are not. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, does not listen to consultants. He says things that a Democratic consultant will tell you, if you say that, you lose the election.
Yeah. That's
What?
right. He would. That's right.
But he doesn't. If you were to say, hey, consultant, can I talk about another man's penis for 20 minutes in a speech, and would that hurt me? That will kill you. Not really. I know you haven't seen yet the Adjustment Bureau, but if you do have the time to see it,
Yeah.
that's the criticism the whole way through. What tie should you wear? Look, the American people realize that Donald Trump either wears a blue or red tie.
Yeah.
He wears suits that don't look that they fit him.
Yeah.
He puts on some cheap spray to make him look like orange. Uh, okay, but it's what comes out of here that they're paying attention to.
That's right.
So, realistically, we need a crazy, angry motherfucker Democrat running for president. And right now, I don't know of any. So maybe we get lucky and we find one. Because right now, what we got doesn't work.
I really I see a handful of individuals within the opposition that would come close to walking up to that line. Would they put it all on the line? Um, I don't know. I don't see it. What what keeps me up at night, and I mean it does, was a statement by someone that I've known for about a little bit over a decade. A young lady who's married, lives in the exurbs of Orlando, has a job. Husband has a job. They have their careers. They own their home, and it was just before, several months before the 2024 election. And I was just asking her and the rest of her family who voted for the Democrat, Biden, in 2020, who were they leaning towards voting in 2024? And these are Democrats. And she told me, that she's going to vote for Trump. And I was like, wow. And everyone else, Trump, 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 Trump. And I was like, wow. And, I get everyone's opinion. And then when I asked her opinion why she's going to vote for Trump, she's like, Trump is the kind of guy who's going to just take charge and is going to lead regardless of whatever anyone says. I said, well, anyone is saying that he'll be, a dictator and authoritarian. And she looked me straight in the eye and she's like, maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a leader who's just going to do it, do the work.
And
Maybe
that and,
we
that,
need someone to hold our hands.
and that's what we need. You could not have a more of a wishy-washy than Biden and Kamala. You cannot
That's
have
right.
anybody more wishy-washy than Newsom in California. You could have nobody more wishy-washy than Buttigieg. You can have nobody more wishy-washy than Chuck Schumer, and I could keep on going all day.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we do need somebody like that. But will the establishment of the Democratic Party let him do so? We're we're fighting because somebody wants to change the party. We're going to kick out somebody because he wants to change the party. We are going to kick out somebody because he wants to save the party, and they just want to keep it where they put money in their pocket as executive directors. And they make $125,000 a year, and they kiss the ring, and they get the travels and this and that. And even if the party wins or not, it doesn't. There's no skin off their nose. You need somebody who could tell this leadership, go fuck yourselves. I'm in control, and yes, from now on, this is our platform, and this is what we're going to do. And maybe the people will do the same thing that they did with Donald Trump. Look, in 2016, nobody thought that Donald Trump could win the primary. In 2024, he ignored completely. He
That's
ignored
right.
all the debates. He never went to one,
That's right.
and
Yep.
he won all the primaries. So
Yep.
people stop thinking that the old ways will work. The
Thank you,
old
Jimmy.
ways
Thank
don't.
you. Thank you. Thank you. In every campaign that has started so far, whether it's on the liberal or the conservative side, it's the same old playbooks. Like, people, have you not understood what Trump has done to the political playbook? Things have changed. The dynamics have changed. And as a voter, take my, consultant hat off, my strategist hat off, my political advisor hat off, and someone's coming to me in the same old-fashioned way of campaigning, ineffective ways, with all the technology that's out there, all the information is out there, and have this feeble, lazy attempt to engage me. To hell with that shit. Done. And many Americans, as they move away from the parties and become non-party affiliates, have said the same thing.
Well, but look, you don't have to go that far. Let's take right now. We talk about a lot of things. Donald Trump doesn't have an email. Donald Trump doesn't have a laptop. Okay, he does Twitter because he was taught how to use it, and he started using it on a BlackBerry. Okay, that's all. We all know how he learned. Uh, yes, and he learned how to do it. And sometimes he had some people that he paid and would do it for him. That's fine. To say that his 16 campaign or his 24 campaign was based on analytics, was based on studies, was based on any consultative things of using computers or anything like that or programs, no. It's him talking to the people. Or like the old days, which now my party says is politically incorrect. Okay, but I don't know. In my days we call it the KISS philosophy, and I don't know if you remember the KISS philosophy.
Oh,
Keep
yes.
keep it simple, stupid.
Stupid. That's right.
And for some reason, we go out there and half of the things that we're telling the people.
The layers and the oh my goodness, shut the fuck up.
So
Okay, you're a
keep it
doctor.
simple.
Okay, you
Look,
get
people,
degrees.
you're hurting. I know you're hurting. You're hurting because the rich are getting richer and you're getting screwed. That's it. If you think that Donald Trump is going to put money in your pocket, no, he's putting your money in his pocket. That's what you want to hear. And what you need to know is very simple, people. You are going to have to work with your government to get your country back. Okay? Okay. So it's time for the two fuck ups of the week. You
All
want to
right,
go
here we
R,
go.
you want to give, or you want to go D?
Let's see. Let's see. Let's flip. Let's go with the R's. I think last time we went with the D's first. Let's see what we got with the R's.
Okay. You have the R's trying to tell people that what our Secretary of Defense is doing is no big deal. There's nothing here to worry about. That he's discussing these matters with his wife and with other people, and it's okay to do so, and there's no problem. He's not done it once, he's done it twice. But not only that he's done it twice, he's done it on Signal, which is not that secure. Okay,
Yeah.
it isn't. As a matter of fact, the platform that we're using is not that secure either for this podcast. I mean, not national security is secure. It has
Correct.
some security, but it's not the same. Okay, you're telling the people of this country that it's okay to do this. So when the new Democrats come in, you say, "Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. We should put Hillary Clinton in jail because she used a desktop in her house,
Yeah.
and that was not secure, and that system it was compromised, and all this." But you know, our young Secretary of Defense, he's okay. You are hypocrites, and that is the problem. You cannot go with a straight face and say, "Hey, what Democrats are doing is criminal, but what we're doing is okay." There's no real security here. And I'm telling you the biggest lie, pants on fire, that there was no classified issues here. If there was no classified issues here, let me make it simple and prove it. It was a communication that came from a general on a secure line to you.
Oof.
You do not use a secure line for unclassified matters. It was classified. You decided that you want to show off to your wife and show off to your brother, show up to your lawyer, and show up to some of your friends to show your knowledge of what's going on so they know and be impressed by you. You're putting the military at risk.
Yeah.
That's the fuck up of the week. And the biggest fuck up is when the president was asked, "Well, it's okay. I trust the man." You didn't even know him, President Trump. You saw him on Fox TV. You liked the stupidities that came out of his mouth, and you appointed him. You've never taken 2 hours to sit down and discuss serious defense matters with this man. Okay. Democrats, you have a big platform to go with, but I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to make it in my state. I don't want to go national this week. You have a minority state senator quitting. You have had 3 Democrat House members quitting in the last 2 years, and you've done nothing to secure them. You've done nothing to make sure to prevent the gerrymandering. You have not done nothing to make sure that that you could save Dade County. You just gave up. Dade County's lost. Why is it lost? Because you've done nothing to get it back. Why is it lost? Because you don't care. Why is it lost? Because the only thing you care about is your monthly salary and your per diem for travel. Democratic Party is weakened because its strength is the 67 counties that compose it. Like every other state, there are 7 counties here that have all the power and all the population. The rest of the counties are very unpopulated and very basically people there cannot raise any serious money because there's no money to raise. As a matter of fact, I live in Orange County, and county commissioners here don't raise $2 and $3 million for their raises. They just don't. Maybe a major may, but that's it. School board members, they're lucky if they raise 25. So
True.
when people tell me where the problem of the Democrat Party, it's not that they don't have a plan A or a plan B. They have no plan, and their plan is just to keep doing the same. My prediction, you've already lost 4. If you keep this up, we will not have any Democrat representation in the House and the Senate. Nikki, get your shit together. And with that, I will say to all of you, please comment. I love the comments. Even those Republicans who think that I'm crazy, I appreciate that. Crazy Democrats. Coming up. Do subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit a little button. Bing. And they will notify you when the new podcast comes out. 3, if you see one of our shorts in either TikTok or YouTube, hey, do me a favor. Give it a like or dislike. At least I know that you're seeing me, and more people are seeing me than are answering if they like or dislike. And least but not less, if you want to, send me a direct a comment there asking me something that you would like me to comment, and I will be more than glad to even make a program as per your request. So with that in mind, I will see you next week, and hopefully everything will be better. At least hope is eternal.
Indeed.
Take care.
Take care, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
You too.